What is good, everybody who is listening to this episode of the One Shot Podcast? I'm your host, Mr. Ranks HTX. I'm here with a special guest today, my boy Cravvnn. How are you doing today, man? How's it going?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. We over here on this Thursday. We're getting this podcast episode ready. I'm not gonna lie, this usually is slightly later than I usually do podcasts, because I know you're on the West Coast.
West Coast, yes, sir.
Yeah, for me it's basically like 8 o'clock right now. But hey,
we're here. We're doing it.
You know what I'm saying? The money never sleeps. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly. There you go.
For sure, man. So, to everybody who is listening to this episode of the podcast, tell us a little bit about yourself. For those of, I cannot talk right now, but for the people that are at home watching or listening right now, actually watching as well, because we upload the video versions on Spotify. Who is Cravvnn today?
You know, I am Cravvnn. It's nice to meet y'all. I am a 24, almost 25 next month year old VFX artist in the Call of Duty scene. I've been kind of creating content for a little while, on and off, I should say, within 2013 being my starter year. I was up on Twitch making Minecraft, kind of like PvP montages. I was actually uploading to Twitch at the same time I was live streaming. Super weird the way it worked back then, but uploading, like, let's call it YouTube style gameplays while streaming it. And after that point, I didn't know where I wanted to go with content creation. I fell off for a couple of years, came back, found CSGO, started playing semi-professionally for about maybe a year and a half. And lost touch again until, recently, about a year ago, I found a random calling. Hey, why don't I try to go ahead, get back into creating some clips, and we're here today.
Okay. I like that. So when you say that you started streaming with Minecraft, was Minecraft one of the first games that got you into gaming just in general?
No, I was into gaming generally from a young age. I got a piece. Yeah, it was a PS2 actually for my first console.
Let's go.
Yeah, yes sir. Got a PS2 for my first console, and I remember my first game was like a Sea-Doo game, man, like some action sports game, but with like Sea-Doo. You know what a Sea-Doo is?
I don't actually.
It's like a jet ski.
Oh, okay.
It was like a jet ski action sports game, and I have no idea how, like I said, here at Call of Duty, but hey.
Hey, we here, you know what I'm saying? We here.
Yes, sir.
We here today, that's all I know. How many, instead of how many, what COD did you start with?
I started with Modern Warfare 2. That was my first official PC game back in 2009.
Okay. Oh, wait, you said your PC game?
Correct.
Okay, so you had the PlayStation to PC jump really early, you know what I'm saying?
I did. I was born in 1998, and I think I got my console. I have this all lined up, man. I think I got my first console. It was 2006. Ooh. So 2006, and then 3 years later, I was on a Dell desktop computer that my parents owned, playing MW2.
Okay. So it was like you see some like an office computer type.
Correct.
Okay.
But that's all you needed back in the day to play, those titles,
Facts, really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now people have three 4090s and 2 Ryzen 9s, and they still dev error, you know what I'm saying?
You're still getting issues on the game, man.
Like you could have 3 graphics cards. It's not gonna help you.
I know, literally.
It's crazy, man. It's like how you had said back then, bro. You just needed a computer that turned on. You
completely. You could load any up game into there, and you were ready to go. 10 seconds later, playing.
Exactly.
It was times, man. It was times.
You could conquer the world with that, man. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. Okay, so from PS2 then to PC, when you sort of had MW2, and I'm assuming you also play Minecraft as well. This is when you first started.
So the Minecraft came in a little bit shortly after. I think Minecraft was released like 2013, 2012 maybe.
I think so, yeah.
It came out and I was all over it, started playing, and that's where I kind of gained like a connection with the online world, I guess you could say. I found a bunch of homies, a bunch of kids on Minecraft servers or wherever I was, and then we would get into like Skype calls, and that was cool to have like homies over the internet for the first time, and so it started building, like I said, a little bit of a community, I guess, of all of us. And we all thought like, hey, people are making videos. We should make videos too. You know, I like watching these videos. Why not try to go into it? So yeah, I had my first ever like debut video up on YouTube. I think it was 2014. It was a Minecraft PvP montage with some Nightcore playing in the background, you know, but
Okay. See, I was just about to ask, do you remember what song was playing in the background?
Yes, it was Nightcore, man. I couldn't give you the exact song, but it was pretty, like, let's call it like high pitched, raspy, I guess.
Yeah, because I remember there was one. No, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but it was a montage I made. Right, this was when I think this was when I wasn't even editing on my PC at this point. This was when I was using. I don't know if you know this, but there's this editing application called Share Factory. It's on I think Play.
I know about it.
It started with so it started with PS4, and this is when I was editing with Share Factory, and man, that thing took so long. And when I watch it now, I'm just like, dude, I genuinely just held this piece of art on a pedestal. And I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, it's so dog shit, but that's what makes it so nice.
Brings you back, man. Nah, dude, it's funny, man. Looking at how I used to look at, let's call it this, right?
Yeah.
I never really knew what I was getting myself into. Number one, and number two, I do not take it for granted at all. You know, I am very, very blessed to be able to create what I create, I feel like, and being able to have the journey that I've been a part of, you know?
Yeah. For sure, man. When you first started editing videos, I want to know, what was the first software you used? Because you sort of had that early PC.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I was back in the Minecraft. I never did anything too crazy other than I was just using, if I remember correctly, like Windows Movie Maker, and literally just kind of piecing the clips together, right? And there was cuts, but there wasn't any effects or anything going on. I did hop into After Effects once back in the day and made an intro for myself. And that was my first touch, I guess you could say. But when I came back into Call of Duty, I was doing it first on my phone as well, using an application called InShot. And in the time was really popular for people to just kind of upload like high kill gameplays, cut out from clip to clip, sync it a little bit to the music, and you know, you had an overlay with the health, the kills, and the map and whatever, you know. So I was doing that, and I found a Zemi is what it was. Found a Zemi, if you know who a Zemi is.
Oh, wait. If I'm not mistaken, he's the guy who made that. It was like a rebirth. I remember it had the Weekend in the background. It was like bottom control center. He broke like 5 cameras.
Yes, sir. Blinding lights. Yes, sir. Yes,
dude,
sir.
that's like a god tier video.
So that's funny. That is one of the videos that I've actually spoken to him about, and he was like, "What made you come across this?" You know, or what made you start doing this? And I'm like, that video right there that you made. You know, so I saw that video, and it kind of made me wanted to take a step up from it. I took over to DaVinci, and it eventually stopped working. AE about a year ago from today, and we're still on AE, man.
Nice, dude. It's crazy how you say how that early of an inclination with After Effects, because I'm like, bro, if I started with After Effects, not even started, it's just in that year. If I looked at After Effects, I probably would have never even been in front of the screen, like, because even to this day, it still scares me. I'm like,
it's a lot, you know. From going back to what I just did to make a little quick intro for myself then to now, I couldn't even imagine spending all the time, brother. I couldn't even imagine. I was, like you said, I first hopped into it and I was scared by it. I really was. It's there's a lot of tutorials out there, but not really much that can kind of tell you, hey, this is what the program is. This is what you can do.
Yeah.
And that scares a lot of people.
That is true. That is very true. Because I remember I'm not, if you're listening to this, hey, I'm not trying to roast you. I'm not going to say his name, but he told me straight up. He's like, yo, I'm trying to get into After Effects. And I'm like, I'm not one to be negative, and I'm not one to not encourage my friends. Please don't do this. I'm like, please don't do this. I'm like, please don't do this.
You're not ready.
I'm like, but he's like, man, I'm gonna get into it, man. I'm trying to do like high level, and he's telling me what he wants to do, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, look, I know exactly what you want to do. The problem is, you probably, and it's no diss to him, but you would have to look at your keyboard before you split a clip. You have to find the keys before you split a clip. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But I'm like, this is something that this guy probably has been doing for like 5 to like 8, maybe 5 to 10 years on After Effects, right? And I'm like, you want to do this and you're trying to learn it in like
the matter of
a month.
less
than a month.
I see what you're saying.
And
I see what you're saying. He's out here looking at full-blown movie productions and trying to replicate.
Yeah, like he's looking at too many sniper montages, and I'm like, look, it looks very cool, but that guy, he's him.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. There's different levels of hierarchy. You know what I'm saying. He's like, there's the kings, the royalty, and then there's some like past the ceiling of my house. It's called him. Yeah, that guy's up there. that guy's up there.
Yeah.
You're trying to get up there, but you don't know how to get out the house to even get up there. So I'm like, dude, slow down, right?
There's an A through Z. Definitely, bro. Definitely. You know, it is a scary program to get into. Like I said, there is a bunch of tutorials out there on how to do specific effects, but a lot of people see something like you said, your friend, for instance, and they're like, yo, I want to go ahead and do that. But there isn't a tutorial that tells you, okay, how to do everything before you can learn how to do that.
Exactly.
And that is where, you know, a lot of people ask me to do tutorials, and I would love to give it to them, but I know it's not going to be that useful just because I can't go ahead and break down absolutely every single little piece. It's going to take too much of my time, you know? And I feel like that's how a lot of creators are as well, who are in programs like these. So it is difficult to get in, you know? A huge help for me, brother, has been, I had a mentor from the start. Some guy that's been in Adobe for over 11 years, actually.
Wow.
And I was able to ask him, you know, how to do that. And he was like, hold up. You got to do this, that, and then you can have your footage looking like this. And I did the same thing that your friend did, you know, to be completely honest. I was like, no, I want to know how to do that. And so he taught me specifics for maybe like a short course of 1 to 2 months. And I wasn't really doing anything other than that same stuff. And I was complaining about it. What can I do? You know, he said, go watch tutorials. I'm like, I'm watching tutorials, but I can't figure it out. And he's like, okay, well then you need to go ahead and you need to sit there and learn the program. And once you learn the program, your creativity will be free, you know?
Exactly.
Did that, man. And I'm telling you, it's been an upright ever since, I can say.
I'm not going to lie to you. I love the fact that you said you had a mentor, and the same things he was telling you is the same exact things
I'm telling you, brother. I'm telling you, brother. You're speaking true word to your friend there, you know. A lot of people want to go ahead and get into this. Half the time that I'm sitting here on my computer, I am just staring at it over and over while it's trying to catch up with itself, you know. So people got to ask themselves, do I have the time to put into it? Do I have the willpower to sit there and just mess around with it? And do I want to go ahead and do I actually want to learn, you know, not just ingest?
Exactly. Because it gets to be a certain point where it's like, I'm putting this project, I'm prioritizing this over everything else that I could be possibly doing. See, some people be like, hey man, you know what I'm saying, would you rather do this? Hey, you trying to go out to eat, trying to do da-da-da-da. But I'm like, dude, I'm so hyper focused on syncing this freaking edit together.
I love it.
I refuse to leave this chair. I refuse to shower. I refuse to speak to anybody. I refuse to drink water. I've held this piss in for an hour. Like, I'm not gonna leave.
Just because I need to get this little piece.
I need to get this little thing done, and I don't know what the thing that will drive you crazy is like, you'll have an edit at like probably like 12 seconds into the clip, right? The edit looks perfect. Let's say you're doing like a quick scoping montage, right? The little shoot, boom, the little velocity, it zooms out with the light flash, and it's like slow motion as the scope's drawing back.
Let's do it. I see the vision.
You know what I'm saying? It's fire. You know what I'm saying? You got the first one down. Okay, cool. The first one's down. Try to do the same thing to the second one, and something about it just doesn't look right. You're like, I don't know what it is. It's just, it doesn't look right. You copy all the metrics. Okay, this is at this.
Everything's here.
But I'm like, why does this just look ass? Like, at a different point in the video. Like, it's the same thing.
I'm literally there, man. I'm telling you.
Look the same. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Like, man,
and you'll be sitting there with that same footage for hours, just back and forth, you know. It's a whole ride, you know.
It is.
Like I said, I've only been at it for a year, but I am learning every single damn day. with these programs.
Yep.
There's always something new being thrown at me, and there's always a new way to expedite something that I have learned, even maybe months ago.
Literally, it's funny as you say that, because there are certain things from the same exact software. Because I've used I'm kind of getting into Premiere Pro, but I've been using Sony Vegas since the jump.
Nice. I can't even imagine. Sony Vegas is like the same thing for AE. I can't even look at it. I am scared.
Man, I'm scared. Something about Sony Vegas, I look at it and I'm just happy. Like, I know where everything is. I know I have all the plugins, the Sapphire, the Magic Bullet, the Boris,
there you go.
Everything
that we got in AE, same stuff. Yeah.
Yep. And it's funny because whenever, for anybody who is also into editing that's listening to this, whenever you install the plugins, it gives an option and it says, would you want to install these to different programs?
Exactly.
You'll see, like,
now, a lot of people don't even know that. A lot of people aren't really on page with, okay, what am I limited to by doing this effect? No, you can kind of go ahead and see what effects work with what programs, and then move from there.
Because sometimes there's not even a real like you'll do something and you're like, I don't even know how to tell somebody how to do this. Like,
correct. I'm able to do it.
I just did it, and I'm like, it's here. Yeah. I'm like, how did you do that? I don't even know. I just started touching stuff, and somehow I pressed play, and I'm like,
and we're at this point.
You kind of move your cursor back. You're like, hold on, play it again. I don't know how the fuck I did that. Where's it gonna go on? I don't know how I did that. Where's it gonna go on?
I feel it, man. I feel it. Hell yeah.
I'm telling you, man. I love this shit. I love editing so much. So it's like,
I do too, brother. I do too. It's been a huge part of my life recently. It kind of has taken over for a lot of the content creation that I've really been doing recently. A lot of people ask me, hey, can you do this? Can you do that for me? And I don't know. I've been kind of stuck with the montaging kind of deeper edits. I sit here and program and do exactly what you said. Test a bunch of stuff. It comes out with a product, and if I'm happy with it, I'm happy with it. If not, I'll sit there for an infinite amount of time until I really, am.
Exactly. So when, like how you had said, you say it for those extended periods of time until you actually get the desired result. Is there something that specifically drives you besides that? Because like I was saying to somebody on the outside, they're like, I don't see how you could sit in this room for hours trying to figure out how to do something. But you're like, we just get it. So it's like, just try and translate that or articulate that to somebody who.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to say. For me, what it really comes down to is, I was telling a little bit to you, actually, to bring it back. Let's say I was telling a little bit to you about how I tie in a lot of this with my real life stuff. A lot of emotion that I have in real life, a lot of whatever it may be feeling, et cetera, et cetera. And so I kind of go ahead and try to find music based around how I do feel. That's the drive behind it, is whatever I am experiencing. If it's something enough that I feel like I can go ahead and create upon it, I will go ahead and I'll try to find number one in a song for it. And then I will try to create clips around that song and then go from there, actually. So the drive is trying to finish my story, quote unquote, it's like I have a little piece of timeline that I'm working with. Like, not a lot of people will know what the deeper meaning is to it, but that's fine. I'm able to go ahead and envision these clips, let's call it, right? I have these effects that I want to do, or visuals that I want to do, and I am just genuinely driven by wanting to see the final product. I'm like, okay, I want to see this story, quote unquote, finished.
Yeah. And see that extra meaning, the deeper meaning, how you say, somebody may look at a video and be like, oh, that was cool, but then you say, yo, maybe this and this happened in my life, so I use this song with that edit at that point because that related to this. It almost makes them like go like, let me pull this video back up, and then when they
rewatch it.
It's like they watch it with a different set of glasses. You know what I mean?
Yes,
completely. That's what's so beautiful. Like when you told me that, I was like, man, that right there is some shit that I probably done it at one point, but not to like the extent and the intention that you had. I probably did it accidentally.
I appreciate that.
Shit,
I appreciate that, brother.
That's an amazing thing, man.
It's more like an artwork for me, You look at a lot of my videos and people are like, your clips are kind of slow, and I tell them I know, And that's because like I said, I'm usually trying to go ahead and portray a story. Back when a year ago really got into the first editing, I was going through kind of like a rough patch of my life, with someone who actually I thought was going to be my wife one day. long, crazy enough. For good reason, due reason, right? That ended up splitting. And, I kind of needed to find something to put my time into. I was streaming. I was having a good time with that. I was uploading the TikToks, like I told you, just with the kill feed stuff. I was having a good time with that, but it really wasn't doing anything, And like I said, I saw Azimi's footage one day and got down on trying to go ahead and how do I learn how to do that? Once I learned how to do that, I really was like, well, I need a story to tell, what do I portray? And it came, true deep down for me from, the hardships that I had with that chick at the time. And so the first story that was being created was, videos actually that I was hoping she would eventually see one, that's surprisingly enough what it came down to. And once I saw that I was able to go ahead and kind of put my feelings out there without truly speaking about them, but also this is, like I said, portraying. It helped me rest a lot, brother. It helped me be at peace a lot. I was able to be like, okay, you know what? So what if she doesn't ever see one of these videos? But I have a way now where I can kind of create something and really truly love it,
Because you never know, somebody may be a fan of that same exact song used in the video, and they're like, I like this song because I had a similar maybe like a similar instance in my life to where I sort of had the same thing.
You'll exactly, brother, exactly. We have a lot of lyrics that go around in lives that people stick around with. A lot of people think that maybe I just do put up some random lyrics on screen, but that is the main time. The lyrics that come up of whatever I'm trying to go ahead and kind of relate to.
Yeah, sort of emphasize him, like, no, you need to understand, like, yeah, he said that passively, but in this video, you need to pay attention to these 4 words he says, 5 words, or 3 words, or whatever it is. Maybe it's 1 word or something. Like, that's...
Yes, sir.
Man.
Yes, sir.
I love that so much. I just want to say that. I just love that.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that, man.
Lot,
it came, like I said, from heart. I couldn't tell you why I'm still here sitting today doing it, other than the fact that I love it. I'm able to go ahead and kind of be at peace with creating a story, And
that's good. It
is.
Now, there's one other thing, right? Because I did a little bit of research, right? And I saw on your Instagram you have a pinned video on there, right? And I was watching it, and I'm like, okay, he had a montage of it, but then there was something else that really intrigued me.
Okay, let me hear.
Because the thing that intrigues me the most about content creators, video editors, COD players is whenever they do something else outside of that also takes skill, and it's like 2 entirely different worlds.
Correct.
My man said he's a head chef of, if I'm not mistaken, is a Greek Mediterranean food truck.
Yes, sir.
I was like, he didn't say I work there. He said I'm a chef. Now, see, working at a food...
That's the thing, right?
See, I've worked at food places, all right? Do I know how to make what the hell they had in there? Hell no. But when you say chef, it's like, no, I know the recipes. I can teach these recipes. I can relay these to other people. How exactly did you get into that? You know what I'm saying?
So surprisingly enough, outside of all the editing, I've been around, let's call it food business, my whole life, and I've always loved food. My father has owned a couple of restaurants under the name Baja Fresh, if you've ever heard of them, around my city. So yeah, Baja Fresh. It's a Mexican American restaurant. Very, very good. Shout out them for sure. But I was always around in his restaurants when I was younger, just kind of seeing the way that stuff worked around,
Soaking up knowledge.
Exactly. And I was interested in food at an early age because of that. So a lot of my jobs, let's call it outside of the video editing, have been food out in a whole. I've been working either pizza places, restaurants, or now being at a food truck, surprisingly enough. 5 years ago, I came across an article, man. I was looking on Craigslist for work, and I see an article that says, hey, I need help for an event at this convention center over the weekend. I'm like, okay, sounds kind of cool, sounds interesting. I go ahead and read more. At the very end, it's talking about a food truck. I'm like, a food truck at the convention center. So I went ahead and researched a little bit more and kind of found out the differentiation between what they call route trucks or gourmet trucks. And So you have either just route trucks, which will be serving you, on the side of the street, burritos, tacos, burgers, and everything else you can think of on a single menu your night. Or you have these gourmet trucks, which are chef-driven trucks, people that come from five-star restaurants that are just kind of sick of the industry and want to go ahead and be able to create what they can truly create. And so I was interested right off start, hopped up in there, worked the event, and after the weekend, the guy, the owner, Manoli, he actually said, "Hey, have you worked the truck before?" I said, "No," and he says, "I would like you here."
Wow.
I was working Ralph's as a bakery manager at the time, and I wasn't really into baking with regards to food. I loved it, but the job entailment was a little bit too much, I could say. So it wasn't necessarily all just, let's call it, baking. So once I heard, hey, I can get hands on with some food, with some recipes, and kind of get some knowledge from this, 50-year-old Greek guy, this wise Greek man, right? Took the offer, and 5 years later, we're here.
Dude, I'd see. That's what I mean. Like, see how in depth of a story that was, right? Like, somebody will look at your edits and be like, "Oh, this is just some guy who just sits in his room all day and edits videos." But it's like, nah, man. Like,
there's a lot that goes into it, brother.
Hey, bro. Like,
I gotta give a quick shout out to you, man, for getting to know people like this, because hey, there is a lot of truth to what you're saying. A lot of people don't go and know what goes on the back end of things.
Yeah, for sure. Because even like one thing I even say to people who ask me for whether it's streaming advice or just content creation advice, I always tell them, like, even like, it's not just playing a video game. Like, no, you need to talk to people. Like, you need to just, like,
you need to give personality to it,
Exactly. Like how people say, oh, when you want to have great conversation with people, one of the greatest things is to have life experience. Yeah, have some life experience, because you know how cool it is if your entire chat has never been to this place and they're like, oh man, I always wondered how this place was, and then you're like, no, I've been there a bunch of times, chat, let me tell you how it is, and they're all like, all ears.
Invested.
They're all ears invested. Sir. They're sitting there, popcorn ready. You know what I'm saying? They needed to pee like an hour ago. They're still listening to the story. Like, they're that intrigued. And that is what being a streamer is, man. Like, cool, you have a 2KD. 100%. Cool, you have a 4KD. That's cool, but fuck, you don't talk like that. You know what
exactly, I'm saying? Exactly. I want to know who you are. I want to be able to tell. I want to be able to relate to you. I want to be able to, I understand what you're saying, 100%.
I'll give two shout outs to two people that are on Team Havoc Studios. One, for sure, my boy Manny, for example. Two, my boy Giddy, and I'll give another one, my boy Mikey. So my boy Mikey, for example, right? I've literally said this. Mikey, if you're listening to this, I promise you, Mikey can talk to absolutely anybody. I'm not joking. I feel like if you held a gun to Mikey's head, right, and you're like, I'm going to off your shit right now. Somehow, Mikey can talk you out of you having the gun, then he has the gun, and somehow
he got that charisma.
He just got that shit. Like, I don't know what it is.
I feel it, brother.
Like, and I remember those, because I remember those one, the day I really realized it. So I'm playing, right? There was another streamer I was playing with. Her name is Bill Murray. It's not Bill Murray, I should say. So I'm playing with her, and she had another friend, you know what I'm saying? We were talking a bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm sort of like getting the vibe and stuff like that. And I'm like, I told her, I was like, do we got a spot? And she's like, yeah, we do. And I'm like, I gotta bring my boy Mikey in here. I got to. I'm like,
he can handle,
reserve the spot, put it like red carpet, have the crown sit there. That boy Mikey's gotta be there. He's gotta, like, if any motherfucker else is in here, like, he's gotta be him.
I love it.
Like, Mikey has to be in here, right? Mikey pulls up, and I'm like, she says, oh, I'll do this, that, or I went here. Mikey's like, oh yeah, I've been there before. I've been there before. And I know he's not lying, because he told me straight up one day. He's like, this was like 6 months ago or something. He told me straight up, he's like, yo, Ranks, I'm pretty sure I've went to every single state in the United States, plus Canada.
No shit.
I'm like... Okay.
So he's not capping at this point. You're like, how is he able to do this?
No, he's not bullshitting. Like, I'm like, how the fuck do you have this much? Like, he's not like, they may think, oh, he's just talking. No, he's serious. Like, this guy's been every fucking where.
That's funny, man. Like, so he's actually able to just communicate. That's cool.
He's so well versed, and even if you just throw him, like, imagine you tell him, hey man, I need you to give this guy a job interview. He's gonna be a construction manager. Okay. He don't know shit about construction. I guarantee that'll be the greatest interview ever. He'll know his everything. Bro, I'm like, Mikey, this is crazy. Like, man, and I'm not even gassing it. Like, he's actually, like, I'm just realizing what I've heard. You know what I'm saying? What I've seen happen. So huge shout out to Mikey. And two examples, Giddy and Manny, for example. Like, you'll see their stream backgrounds, and they have like vinyls or like posters or flags that sort of tie into things that they're interested in, things that are part of their lives, and just things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Because, for example, it's a great conversation starter. I've been in Manny stream. Somebody's like, "Oh, where'd you get those posters from?" But then he's like, "Oh no, it's they're vinyls, da 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 da," and he has like a record player next to him.
Hey, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that also sparks conversation.
That's tight. Yeah, that's tight.
And then the vinyls,
Damn.
I know one of them off the top of my head because I see it so many times. It's like an NWA when you see Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and I'm like,
hell yeah.
Instant conversation started. You know what I'm saying? So it's little aspects like that that just start conversations, and when you have this like plethora of experience or this plethora of interest in whatever that is, you could talk for hours about it, because everybody has that one thing they could talk about for hours, like just
exactly,
for hours.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody has it, so I'm like, when you have that as a streamer, content creator, whatever, that just adds.
You go ahead and give it your all.
Extra,
it gives it that little extra flavor. There you go.
Exactly, man. I freaking love that, bro.
Me too, brother. Me too.
Now, back to the food trucks. There was a question I wanted to ask, right?
Okay.
What's your favorite dish to make? Make and eat, I should say.
Ooh, okay. Make and eat.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly enough, is gonna be a little bit unhealthy here, but a garlic feta fry with beef and lamb on top.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I've never had that before, but it sounds good.
So it will be garlic, fresh garlic oil with French fries. I have a 13, if I'm correct, spice seasoning that's on there. Nothing too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the number 13, right? I don't tell people that, right? But
just know it tastes good at the end.
Exactly. It gives it a little bit of a kick, let's call it. Not too spicy, not too bland. And then you go ahead, put some nice, fresh feta cheese on top, get some fresh beef and lamb right off the grill, throw it right on top of there. And you have yourself a plate, with some lemon right on top of that.
Nice.
It's like I said, a little bit of the unhealthier side, but man, I gotta go for some fried stuff. If I gotta go for, let's call it a favorite plate, I really do.
Because me, I'm into fitness, but I'll say this, right? Because me, when it comes to especially fitness, I'm cutthroat with the advice, cutthroat with the way I do it. Bro. So I'm like, hey, look, when you want to be healthy, go be healthy. You know what I mean? Eat chicken, eat your rice, chicken, and broccoli. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Your unseasoned chicken, your unseasoned rice, and your unseasoned broccoli. Go do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when it's cheat day, I don't want to hear jack
Have something
shit.
Nice. Have something nice.
I don't want to hear jack shit. But that's so shut the fuck up. I don't hear nothing.
Yep.
That's how I am, man. So when you said unhealthy, I'm like, bro, I don't care. Because I guarantee you it's going to be one day out of the week when I eat it. You know what I'm saying? One day out of the week. Especially, like for my cheat day, it's going to be tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'm having my little quesadilla tacos. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, like we were talking about. There you go.
Say I'm going to have that. You know what I'm saying? How many am I going to eat? That doesn't matter. That's besides the point. Am I going to worry about how much I'm spending? Look, I was conscious about money throughout the whole week. All right, today is the day where I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, there you go. Let's be a little bit spender, big spender.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I have to, man, because each taco's like, if I eat each taco's like $3. So
yeah, they're expensive, man. They're expensive.
So I usually get 4. That's $12 plus the broth,
just on the tacos.
The consomme. I'm pretty sure if I'm saying it right. I'm not sure if you're Hispanic. Do not roast me. I'm sorry, but you get that on the side with it, bro. They just threw it in there and didn't tell me the price. So I'm like, why is this shit kind of expensive? This shit was like $2. I'm like, damn. Just
the broth.
It's a broth.
I know. Trust me, man. Being in the food industry, it's taught me a lot about the pricing with it, and just not to sidetrack a little bit, but
nah, you're good.
Dude, I'd be going out to eat and hearing food pricing, and I'm like, I know the food cost. I know what it costs you to make that.
Yup. You're talking, hey, can I have this, that, and they're like, that'll be this, that. I'm like, nah, you're not really about to scam me right now, are you? You're not really about to scam me right now, are you?
Exactly. There's obviously a cost for whatever you need. But if your markup should be overpaying, let's call it your 30% workforce, and everything, your workforce, your cleaning costs, your rent, your everything else, let's call it combined, you're making a little bit too much for what you're trying to push out.
Yeah, honestly, some people, some places, they literally just charge just for the fucking name. The name, the environment,
truth,
who the fuck goes there? Because some motherfuckers, they got the same dude. They probably pay this guy like $200 a day to park his fucking nice ass,
nice car outside, right?
Outside, right? You know what I'm saying?
Attract all these other, nicer clients. Exactly.
That motherfucking, that is like a 2017 Bentley and has like 30 miles on it. All he does,
he's sitting there.
He literally paid him $200 a day. He gets in it, drives like 10 feet, parks it, and leaves. He doesn't even drive the car.
Yeah. That's what he's there for. That's funny, man. That's funny.
Literally, man, the greatest return on his investment ever. It's crazy.
Exactly. But there is a lot of up cost, let's call it, with the food. So to touch back on the tacos are $3, but at the end of the day, hey, if you're looking to get a nice meal.
Yep.
Sometimes the money be worth it, man.
Sometimes you just gotta spend, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta spend, you feel me? Yeah, so everybody's listening, right? I want everybody to understand something, right? My boy Cravvnn, right? When he goes to work, he be cooking, right? When he goes to work, he be cooking, right? When he comes home, right? He opens up his editing software, he be cooking, right? When he hops on Call of Duty,
no, you got me dead, man.
When he hops on Call of Duty, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? I think he's cheating. Why are there all these streaks in the sky? He's still cooking. So from sunup to sundown, you're cooking.
Appreciate you, my boy. Appreciate the gas, my boy.
Just like that, you know what I'm saying? He never stops cooking, I'm telling y'all.
Appreciate that, my boy.
For sure, man. Now, there's a question that I've always want to ask a fellow video editor, and I think we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I kind of want like your specific answer for this. Name a project that you would say you're the most proud of. It doesn't even got to be the greatest thing. You're just like, this could be something I made when I was 5, but I made it when I was 5, so it's the greatest thing.
Definitely. I was probably most proud of recently my project Change. Reason being for it, I was able to, actually, sorry, not my project Change. What was it? It was Shine On You Crazy Diamond. And it was a project that started with a vision in my head of having some mirrors in the game. And so I went ahead and I asked everyone I knew, hey, where can I find mirrors in the game? And they're like, what are you talking about? You're gonna have to put that in the game. So quick shout out to the editor boys, Slime Z.
Shout out Slime Z, man.
Shout out Slime Z, right? He went ahead and told me, hey, why don't you try to actually hop in Blender and throw it up on there? And so I have been in Blender a little bit here and there, throwing pieces up for whatever it was in my video, but I never really wanted to try and create a true scene. I tried it in Blender for maybe 50 hours. I was just in project trying to get this animation down for this one 3-4 second scene, if I remember correctly. And I couldn't get it, surprisingly enough. I brought it back over to After Effects, and right away I had gotten it in there. And it changed kind of a lot for me. I was like, okay, I kind of have some creative freedom now that I figured out to do this. I can start applying this object placement and scene effect, let's call it, around everywhere else with whatever I want to do. And I was able to finish that project, I think in 130 hours, brother. 130 hours is what I put into there. And it ended up being, like I said, to date, my favorite project. I was just overcoming struggle, overcoming a true struggle. I had a starter vision for something that I wasn't able to grasp upon, and I gave it one last shot, did it, and it took over. It took over.
That's usually the project that how it is. It's not the one that gets the most views, because sometimes you'll throw some shit that gets a bunch of views. You're like, okay,
literally.
It's the one thing that you put the most blood, sweat, passion into.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then it turns out, and you're like, it's done.
It's like, done. No, literally. The text message to the group chat was, "It's done, boys."
That is perfect. I love that. I love that, man. They already knew what they were talking about. Like, yeah, it's done, man. They already knew.
Yeah, they're all like, hey, you know it.
They knew what time it was, man. I freaking love that, man. I freaking love that for sure. Now, I want to ask, right? Because this is something Call of Duty related, right? Because you said you started Modern Warfare 2, right? So OG Call of Duty, right? So you know what I'm saying. I know you got some experience from Call of Duties from then to now.
Okay.
What are your top 3 Call of Duties?
Oh, you're on the spot like that.
Top 3 in any order.
Definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's say top 3. Let's do it like 1, 2, and 3, right? The
Mm-hmm.
all-time top has to be MW2 just because that's what I started on.
Solid
It's,
contender.
It's just what I was what I grew into, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
for Call of Duty. So that's got to be my number 1. My number 2 has to be actually the past Warzone that we just had. I found true love for Call of Duty with Warzone. I really, really did.
Answer.
I loved the battle. I played a little bit of battle royales, nothing too crazy. COD hit one and I was in. So I got to take number 2 spot with 2019 Warzone.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I played a lot actually of Xbox One Black Ops 4. I was on multiplayer constantly, right? And a lot of people are going to give me hate for that, but I did have a lot of fun doing that. I don't it's so hard to explain, brother. I had very, very limited time to game, let's call it, during the Black Ops era. And when I was able to, I found Black Ops 4. It had just came out, hopped into a console, and I was at my ex-girlfriend's house, playing that thing whenever I could. So I got to give it to that as my number 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm be honest. For me, I have no issue with that list at all. For me,
really? Oh, that's surprising.
I have
that's
no
surprising.
issue with that list at all. Because first off, MW2, that's my first Call of Duty I ever touched in my life as well. So I'm not. I can't. I love that answer for sure.
Yeah.
And one that I hate that people love giving slack or love giving a bunch of hate to is Warzone in general. Like, dude, half the people that play Call of Duty now are playing what? Warzone. Warzone. You gotta understand, a lot of people that used to stream Call of Duty back then, they understand, hey, they gotta make money at the end of the day.
Times have changed.
Times have changed. You know what I'm saying? So they put that energy and that effort into Warzone. Like a great example.
It's a lot more than just being able to hop into a 6v6 game, brother.
Exactly. A great example is FIFA Kill. I don't know if you know FIFA Kill, but
yes, I do.
FIFA Kill. So I was watching him when he was on Doom. He was part of Doom Clan, and he used to get do those 6v6. He used to drop 200, 300 kills on Black Ops 3 and stuff. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. But
all
now,
the multiplayer clips, exactly.
See, you know what I'm saying? But see,
coming over here to Warzone, now he's a pro.
I mean, he's one of
more
the
best.
More
than a pro. I was gonna say, more than a pro.
He's one of the best. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's like somebody like him. He understood. Hey, this is what I gotta do. I gotta make this transition. You know what I'm saying? It completely. It made the content for COD completely shifted because of Warzone.
100%. I agree with you. A lot of people do talk down upon Warzone, and I think it's just because it's something so different than what they have played. But you can't be playing the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Eventually, something's gonna have to change.
Something's gonna have to change. And you know what I'm saying? Oh, that word adapt kind of just.
I know. I was debating saying it, man. I was like, I might get called out.
Man, because sometimes, bro, I can't tell you how many times I'm mad at Call of Duty and somebody's like, just adapt, bro.
Just adapt, bro.
Just adapt, bro. I'm like, these are the same guys in corners.
No, literally though, man. I know. That's why I was like, shit, should I say it?
Nah, but 100%. I know what you mean by that. In that context, 100%.
The content had to adapt. People were kind of sick of just watching the same thing over and over again. I mean, look at it compared to when Warzone came out. Content completely shifted. Like you said, and the creators that were really kind of stuck on the MW side of things weren't receiving as much love just because the new thing was here.
Exactly.
It was the Battle Royale.
Even somebody like Swag, too, for example. Swag, I used to watch a lot.
There you go. Massive, bro. Massive example for that.
Made that switch, man. And then he made that switch, and with Verdansk, he has 300K titles with tournaments and stuff.
Literally.
He's just, you know what I'm saying? He made a whole.
Made it, bro. Made it.
You know what I'm saying? And he put I don't want to say he entirely made the Baka Bros, but we wouldn't have known who they were if it wasn't for Swag playing with them and them displaying the personalities that they already had on those streams. And everybody's like, man, who is this guy? I love this guy. Bring that guy more. Swag, I'm in your stream, but who's that other guy? I want to watch him instead of you. You know what I'm saying? So they grew off of that. They got that exposure. And somebody else like Biffle, for example, always in tournaments with Swag. And they're like, because everybody sort of idolizes Swag and Nick Merckx, but then they're like, this guy I haven't fucking heard of. Like, this guy, Swag's struggling to get 20. This guy has 40. Who the fuck is this?
Who is he?
Who is this guy? You know what I mean?
Literally. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just puts so many people on the map. Like Biffle, for example. He's I think he's 20 now, or 20 or 21. He's somewhat slightly younger than me. It's crazy. And I'm like, man, This guy is like, I mean, when you watch the way he plays, some of the plays he makes, I'm like, dude, this guy is like
insane.
It's not even just the aim, the experience. It's just the way it's the IQ, bro. It's the IQ that he has, 100%. Man. And if it wasn't for something like Warzone, he wouldn't be able to display that. He wouldn't
be able to go ahead and shine. Yeah, no, exactly. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Exactly, man. So definitely, I don't care what y'all say, because some people don't even consider Warzone to even be part of Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. I know, but it is. It is.
It has to be, man. I don't care what you say. If you have a problem, come fight me about it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I got gloves on my arm. You want to come fight? Want to talk about it? Come fight me, man. Come on. And then the next one is Black Ops 4, because now the thing with me with Black Ops 4 was I hated it at first because of the 5v5, the specialist thing. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is new. At first I was like, okay, this may be cool. It's just 5v5, I should say. It won't be that bad. The problem I had was 5v5 competitive wise was perfectly fine. Problem was 5v5 when I'm trying to pub stomp on Nuketown and then somebody leaves. Yeah, 4 people now.
4 of you, yeah.
So now it's like the lobby's like dead, and there'll be so many times where I'm like, this game ends like quick, or this game ends and I have like 20 kills when I'm used to Black Ops 3 flying all over the map with like 70 at like.
Exactly.
Man, but I will be honest, there was a certain period of Black Ops 4, I think that was like pinnacle ranks Call of Duty. I will say, like that was like, I think sometimes like the best to me was Black Ops 3, but I'm like, there were certain points in time where I'd play on a couch behind me, right? A couch behind me. It was a monitor. It was like 60 hertz monitor. I literally sit back like this, no table, no sweat position, no nothing. I'd be playing music to the max on Spotify.
Just chilling.
And That's
exactly the same way it was for me, brother, with the Black Ops 4. Exactly the same way.
And
I was like I told you, in my ex-girlfriend's house, man, just like kicking back. I had time to game. This is it.
Yeah, man. It's just
I feel you on that. I feel you.
That game was just vibes for some reason. Like I would be. There was one game I had. I was like 107-2. I couldn't even hear footsteps. I couldn't hear footsteps.
Teed up.
I couldn't even hear footsteps. I got a 200 hertz monitor, a $2,000 PC, a $200 controller. And I'm raging, dying to kids in corners. And I'm like, bro, the difference back then was just, I was just chilling. And that game was just straight vibes for me. And I loved competitive on that game. It was just so beautiful. Ran so smoothly. Really and I think another reason why was because the health was higher. You know what I mean?
We did have that health buff back then, which gave a lot longer fights,
True. It did. And in that case, you had to play a lot smarter. You had to play so much smarter. Mm-hmm. Like there are certain times you just couldn't chow certain things.
You had to reposition.
And you had to hit those shots. You can't. You miss a few of those shots. A guy will slide, turn around,
out. Yup. You better get out. You are dead.
You are dead.
The game vividly, man.
Your team's having talks of dropping you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Literally, they're like, come on, man.
Like, come on, bro. And then, like, the worst part is whenever you're playing search or something, right? You get completely shit on. And then and then your teammates are just laughing. You're laughing. And then it plays in slow motion. And there's that one guy who wasn't really paying attention. He's like, wait, what happened? What happened? And then he's like, wait, we lost? And then he's looking at it and then he just sees the guy turn around. And he's like, no way.
Starts clowning, bro. It's the worst.
Like, bro, you died like that, and you're just sitting there like, lost for words, man. Just lost for words.
Literally.
Ego destroyed and everything, man. It's I miss Black Ops 4.
It's hurting, but I feel you, brother. I feel you. It was a simpler time for sure.
It was a much simpler time for Call of Duty. Actually, Black Ops. Oh, they also had Blackout. I forget about Blackout. Did you dabble in Blackout at all?
I did not play any Blackout. I wasn't interested back then in Battle Royale, surprisingly enough. Like I said, Warzone being number 2, because I found Battle Royale. I had known about them, but really fell in love with them with Warzone.
I'll be honest. You didn't miss out on that much. I will be honest.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Now somebody may crucify it, because I hear so many people. Like even I've heard Joel say this. I've heard a bunch of other people say this. They're like, "Oh, Blackout was pinnacle Call of Duty," and I'm like, no, it was not.
I really didn't hear of it back in the day, man.
Like, you know,
not many people were playing it.
That you didn't hear about it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't hitting.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
exactly.
It was cool to play. I mean, you know, you ran it up with like some friends. It would be cool. It'd be fun. But nobody was out here dropping those like 40,
crazy amount of kills or anything like that.
30 kills. I mean, I've seen a clip of like Optic Formal do some crazy shit, but that's like one clip. I haven't really seen any crazy Blackout clips. And even the cool clips don't look that cool. They just don't.
It's nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy, man. It's somehow sad that people say that's better than Warzone, and I'm like, if you think that's better than Warzone, I mean, you're tasting Call of Duty.
That's a stretch.
That's a different degree of a stretch, man. That is, I don't know, Brazilian stretch, Jamaican stretch. I don't know. True. Something, man. It is crazy, bro. Man, I got one question, right? Because we kind of tapped into this earlier as well. But if you were to say, if you had somebody that came up to you and he's like, "Hey, man, look, I see what you do, right? I get that it's gonna take a bit of a process. I get that. I understand that. If you were to give this person this probably." I would say a younger version of you, but that's like, I don't know. I don't want to say that. Let's say somebody on the outside, somebody who's new. He's like, man, I love your content, and you're inspiring me to start making content. What would you say? And he's like, can you give me some advice, some like serious advice, some hardcore, not the do it and be dedicated bullshit. Like he wants some like something he ain't heard before, right? What would you tell this person?
One thing that I would say is
it could be like a few things, like maybe like two.
I was gonna say, okay, a couple little things. Specifically would be, don't be scared to go ahead and experiment. You know, don't be scared to experiment. A lot of people, like you said, will give you the whole main talk about, okay, well, you have to just be ready to sit there. Like I talked about, that's the truth. But don't be afraid with this. It's scary to look at this damn program. I talked about it so much about how there's barely any of these tutorials, you know. But you can overcome literally damn near anything that you can put your mind on, I guess. Exactly. And with that, experimentation happens inside the program, you know. Don't be scared to go ahead and test by just fucking throwing on effects, man. A lot of people want a final product. Be ready to experiment. Be ready to test.
That's a good one, because that's one of the reasons. That's one of the ways I even learned about effects within Sony Vegas. I just start throwing stuff, see what it does.
Yes, exactly.
See what it does. If it looks cool, I'm like, it doesn't even look that cool. Take it off. Throw something else. You're like, man, that would look cool if I did X.
That would look if I did this, and exactly. And being able to piece something together, you know. So once you know what you're able to do, then you can, you know, experiment more and do that with that, and then that with that, and keep it going.
Yeah, because everybody wants the fully finished Bentley, but you're
correct.
You're the guy to put it together. You know, so you're the guy that's supposed to learn the parts of the car, how to put it together like an old dusty Toyota, so you understand the mechanics of the car. You go from that. Then you start learning on how to do a new Toyota, and then maybe like a Mazda and the Bentley. But everybody just wants the Bentley because it looks nice, man. You know what I'm saying? But
exactly. You know, you have to sit there and be ready to experiment. Just give it time. Give it time. I learned very fast, and a lot of people tell me, you know, that they're surprised with what I'm doing in program with only being a year here. But I can't tell you enough. You know, I do really sit here and just mess around. You know, and you're gonna have to be ready for that if you want to get into the editing, really true to editing side of things.
That's facts. That's literally what I'd say. I'd say the same thing. I don't. There's nothing else I'd probably say. I would just say, hey man, just start throwing shit at the wall and just It may take 3 days. You got nothing, all right, but you know what everything does.
1 second, exactly. 1 second, you're gonna go ahead and have a thought of, okay, well, I can do this now, and that's all it takes, you know.
Yep. And another piece of advice I would also say on top of that is to consume a decent amount of content. Sometimes you got to look and see what other people
you do have to watch. You have to watch a lot, you know. Like I said, I've watched a bunch of tutorials on how to do certain things, and that has helped me. That has definitely helped me being able to piece stuff together like we have tied in a bunch. It's it all comes down to ingest, and then test.
Exactly.
You can't just go ahead and ingest and have a final product.
Yep, exactly. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. The process process, as many people think it is, a lot of people want the final product and think if when I get the final product, everything will be great. They think F the process, I want the final product. But the funniest thing is that you start liking the process so much that you don't even care about the end product anymore.
Literally, I enjoy just editing, you know, as is. I'm very, very excited to see that story finish, like I say, but at the same time, it's fun to hop in here.
For sure, man. The next point that I did have was, do you have any like future projects or any sort of collaborations, anything you got in mind for the future that you would personally, that you don't mind sharing, I should say. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. I really don't know what I'm kind of doing right now. With it, I could say as an overall. I am creating right now just off of. I do have something coming out for Ashika, I should say, right? Just because Ashika was released. But I don't have anything too big necessarily, you know. I at one point was looking to go ahead and try to get in contact with the Los Angeles Gorillas, and I had connections with them, some contacts with them, and I eventually got to a point of some director saying, "Hey, send me something," you know. And I never did because I wasn't ready, I felt like. And past couple of months, ever since I was at that point when I knew I wasn't ready, I've been trying to learn and test as much as I can until I got ready. Come news yesterday, LAG/The Guard is pretty much disbanded as a whole. I don't know if you've heard.
I did hear something about that. Like they laid off a decent amount of members as far as
exactly. All the content is gone completely. So I don't know what I would be editing for. Right. But so the direction is right now kind of edit and see really where I do want to go with it. I would like to really be involved with the CDL. That would be a dream of me for sure, because I could feel like I'm at like a professional level with it then, you know. I know if I did get involved with the CDL, I most likely wouldn't be doing necessarily, let's just call it, edits like I do right now. But it's going to be able to go ahead and help me expand on my cinematography, videography, and, you know, just let's call it video effects on a whole. You know, I want to be able to go ahead and work with other creators who are as passionate and dedicated to Call of Duty like I can be, you know.
Would you even say actually continue, go ahead.
No, you're okay. I was gonna say so it really just comes down to once I see something in the CDL, like I guess sparks my eye, I'll be pushing a project towards them. Until then though, man, just getting out something with Ashika. I'm gonna be, like I said, testing some stuff, see what I can do, and once I'm ready, sending a video to someone.
Nice. We love to hear that. I love to hear that. The thing I was gonna say was this was regarding the CDL. So would you see yourself almost making like the team intros? Like, let's say for example, they've got a major going and they got the team, they need like a video to intro all the players and stuff like that. Is that something you see yourself doing at one point?
Yes, totally. Shout out yet again, Slime Z, shout out another boy as well, Maj. They both were talking about doing intros, and you know, they are now making intros, right? And it's given me a lot of inspiration to kind of push towards that. I would like to see myself making team intros for the CDL, as well as frag Tajes. You know, I have a lot of creators who are hitting me up and saying, hey, I want a video made, but they really don't have a vision behind it. And it takes, you know, someone who is a content creator to push a vision, you know, someone who really takes and understands content like you and me have talked about, you know. And so if someone comes at me and says, hey, I have this vision, can you help me create it? I could definitely see myself doing that around in the CDL. So maybe just editing overall for the team or creators inside of a team. I can see myself doing it.
I like that for sure, because I watch some of them and I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, hey man, I don't know who they hired for this, but I could do this better for free. But I'm like, some of them I'm like, hey, I gotta give credit to
where credit's due. Yeah.
Who was it? It was the Minnesota Rocker during Vanguard. Their intro was just, it was like a witch and like a shack in a forest. and
I gotta check it out.
And you'd see the forest on the outside, and then she'd have like these little cards right in front of her, like she was like almost like a fortune teller. She flips over the cards. You see like Standy, Attach, Major Maniac, and then you hear the sound effects, and I'm like, bro, this
is hot.
I'm like, dude, the Rocker, their concepts for the CDL intros are just, I'm like, bro, this is so beautiful.
That's cool. I'm definitely gonna need to check that out then.
I'm like, bro, I'm like, every time they would play, I'm just like, bro, I just want to see this. And then you see all W's in the chat, and I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like,
the hype's building. The
hype's building. That's the thing. That's one thing I love about theirs. It's not just, even though, you know what I'm saying, having players and not everything related to players, because, well, that's who they're introducing to players. It's very great, and a lot of other teams do have very great player intros, but just that extra added level, that extra concept, that extra thing on the outside. Maybe you're somebody who's kind of into that kind of stuff, and then you're able to see it. Like, it's just, because I remember the first time I saw it, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm looking at a forest, and I'm like, am I getting trolled right now? The whole chat's like, what the fuck is this? Whole chat's like, what the hell? What is this? What is this? Did I get hacked, or somebody hacking? But it's like, she turns them over, and on each card,
and it ties right into the
story.
It's a story.
It's a whole story. You see Attach, his eyes be glowing blue. You hear like the caster comms in the background of him doing crazy stuff, and she's like rubbing like a ball. And then you see the matches and crazy highlights he had. I'm like, dude, this is fucking nice.
Tight, hell yeah.
I'm like, this is so, like, this involves more than just an editing software.
Yep.
This involves you going to some scary ass forest.
I was gonna say, it really takes a lot to get to a point of some footage. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely, man. It is. I need to figure out what they do for that, because I need to steal that, because I need to
get that little bit of that.
You know what I'm saying? Figure out the sauce of what they do, man. Get the sauce on what they do, man, for sure.
Definitely.
So, the last question I have, or the last topic I would say I have for this podcast is, I asked everybody this towards the end of the podcast, who would you want to see on the next episode of the One Shot Podcast? You have anybody in mind that you'd be like, this guy would be a great podcast guest, this guy would be great, you should check this guy out, somebody.
I do actually. I do. I have a buddy. Shout out Teo. He's an old friend of mine who I really don't talk much to anymore, but he started his content journey, I should say, officially recently, and I've seen the grind that he's been putting out, and the guy deserves a lot more, man. He is there every single night streaming. He is there every single night trying to go ahead and get clips up to TikTok. He is there really what seems putting in work, and he's got a whole life, ahead of him as well. He's also a chef for his father's pizzeria, right? Nice. So shout out chefs. So I would say him, man. Teo, dude, he really does do a lot, and I would like to see some recognition towards him.
Nice. So we got Teo so far. All right, we got anybody else, or Teo's a solid
I was gonna say if Teo. If not Teo, definitely have to go with my guy Maj. Shout out him. I talked about him a little bit ago, and he's making those intro scenes now. He took upon Blender maybe a month or two ago and started creating these beautiful like intro style scenes to Call of Duty clips, man. And with True 3D, it's really what your creative mind can come to. And he's a very, very creative person, bro. Has been through it all too with the Call of Duty scene. He's been through teams, been through streaming, been through editing for others, kind of had a little taste of a lot of the scene, I should say, he just got signed with Delirium recently.
Nice.
So he would be definitely a good guest.
Okay. It's actually funny because Slimesy also recommended him. So that's two recommendations.
There you go. Shout out Maj, man. Nah, he's a bit of a human, man. He's got a lot of energy.
For sure. So my man got
so
two
if I was gonna say either Teo, Maj, or shout out Keb as well. Keb is a friend of, we were let's call it like I don't want to say a trio with me, Keb, and Teo, but Keb was as well in the friend group pretty heavily. And I would say he was probably the first guy that I found when I kind of got really, really deeply tied back into the Call of Duty scene. Same thing as Teo, though I really don't talk to him much. He's out there playing Valorant. But he's more so on the car sales side of things versus content, I should say.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. See, that's why I like the recommendations because I'm able to know who the person is. I'm already intrigued before I even know them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was gonna say, you know, that Kev's great guy, you know. But is he giving content as all right now? No, I know he's not. You know.
Okay. For sure. So it's a bet. So to everybody listening, we're almost wrapping up this episode of the One Shot Podcast that I had with my boy Cravvnn today. You know what I'm saying? W editor / chef. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying? He make your mom mistake and now he's your stepdad. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy.
You got me dead, man.
Bro, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, you got me blushing, man.
You know what I'm saying? You wait, you know what I'm saying? You had a mom and that was it. You wake up the next day, you smell steak, you come outside, Cravvnn's in an apron, you know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? Don't get mad. He know what he doing with he know what he doing with the knives, he know what he doing with the pots, the pans, he know what he doing with that, man, for sure. So to everybody who's listening, make sure you go check out Cravvnn on all of his social media platforms. Like I said, I don't even need to explain it any further. This guy makes fire ass content. Go ahead and see it for yourself.
I appreciate you.
My words will not be enough. You'll be blown away once you check them all out for sure. Check them out on all the socials, and anybody else who is listening to this, make sure you guys check out Team Havoc Studios on all of our socials as well.
Big shout out to Team Havoc Studios, man.
For sure, man. We gotta shout out the team, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, dude, you guys are putting in work, man. So, you know, if anyone else is gonna say it, bro, I see it, and
thank you.
Proud of what you guys are doing, you know, proud of it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. For sure.
Of course, brother, of course.
So anybody listening, check out all of us on our socials: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Cravvnn, do you stream often?
I haven't recently, brother, but I am gonna get back into it soon. I am.
Definitely follow him on Twitch. So when he makes the comeback, your front row seat, you know exactly.
There
got the Twitch notifications on. You're there, first place.
Appreciate it.
Ready with the money for the subs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Gotta come through for my boy whenever he comes through, man. So yeah,
much love, man. Much love.
That wraps up this episode of the One Shot Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everybody for tuning in.
Hey, I appreciate you for having me, brother. It was a great time. Thank you.
For sure, man. This was one of my favorite podcast episodes. I'll be honest. It's one of my favorite episodes.
That really touches. That really does. Thank you for that.
For sure, man. No problem. It's me and Cravvnn, and we're out of here. Peace.